Oh, you guys are fun. Thank you.
Bring your own cheering section.
And I get to step up to the plate. All right. Well, I have some quotes again, so I brought my little device. So I make sure I read them correctly, because I don't carry a printer anymore. I used to have a printer, but remember when printers were, yeah. Oh, my goodness. There we are. All right, you have, either on your chair or in front of you, a copy of our FUUF, Covenant of Good and Faithful Relations. And this is based on the UUA covenant. And it's really inviting us to expect specific things from each other and ourselves. And the word covenant is from the Latin, cove, relating to the word cum, and venant, meaning coming together. So covenant is a coming together. And in usual term, it's a solemn agreement, or it's a promise from the heart. Isn't that nice? So the way the UU website talks about these is the heart of a covenant is that besides expressing our emotions and differences in respectful ways, we approach disagreements constructively by talking to the person we have an issue with, not with a third person. So the covenant calls members to listen attentively, express gratitude, value confidentiality, ask for help, respect different opinions, and acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes. So what FUUF has done over the years, and this has been rewritten about 4 times in my knowing, right, is, look at it and get clear about what it is that we expect from each other. And some of you are familiar with it, and some of you aren't, and all of you are kind of glancing at it, which is appropriate. And what I thought I would do is invite anyone who sees something that really stands out for them to stand up and read it for us so we can hear it as well as see it. So is there something on this page that just stands out for you? Oh, come on.
Give us a reading time.
Well, there's someone in the back who's got one, and then Don. Yes.
One that speaks to me is raise concerns bravely, promptly, gently, and directly with those involved, and recognize that I am asking others to do the same with me.
Yeah. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Don.
One I've learned this evening when we lived in Wisconsin is trust in the goodwill of others and respect and value every person in our congregation during times of agreement and disagreement.
Right on.
I found that when we moved here years ago, it was certainly expressed from the day we walked into the place.
Yay. Yes, Deborah.
Bring my sense of joy, humor, and fun to the fellowship.
That's our Deborah. I love that. Yes. Right.
The last one, support the overall good of the congregation in times of ease and times of difficulty.
And we've counted on you for that for years. Thank you.
I don't have my glasses, but it caught my attention. Welcome and appreciate the diversity of people and ideas which surround me here at FUUF.
Yeah. Thanks, Stanley. Oh, yes.
Listen to understand rather than to judge or prove a point. Avoid hasty responses.
Yeah. And that's the essence of dialogue. That's why I call that thing that we do afterwards a dialogue circle. We listen from the heart, and we respond from the heart, not from whatever thing is trying to happen here. Thank you. And behind you.
And going on further on that point is that I'm finding there's a lot different perspectives than mine, and they're not right or wrong. They're just
Thank you, Renee.
no, it's okay.
Right on. Yes, difference is a good thing. It's amazing how that is. Yes.
And speak and act with care, courtesy, and especially a loving heart.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Forgive myself and others when we fail to keep these promises, and then begin again in love and faith.
Indeed. because forgiving ourselves is as important as anything else out there. Right, thank you, thank you, thank you. So when we have an agreement like this, even when we don't look at it, it becomes the culture of the community. And it's what keeps people coming back. It keeps all of us coming back, right? This agreement and the fact that this group of folks follows through on it is just creating this wonderful, warm, welcoming environment in which we know, as we heard in the music that we didn't hear the words for, we've got a friend. We've got a friend. And it may not be the person that we've disagreed with, although often that turns out to be our best friend, right? We had a disagreement, we worked through it, and oh my goodness, there's something here that is even more. So what I'd like you to think about is the times that you have felt a really strong sense of belonging in this congregation or any group of folks that you've been, just that time when you felt that sense of belonging. And be aware of what's happening in the body when we do that. Yeah. There's a marvelous thing that goes on in the brain-body connection when we allow ourselves to feel safe and feel cared for and feel like we are part of this. Even if we don't always agree, even if we don't always do it the same way, we know we are accepted and safe. And actually, that's one of the things that helps us be healthy. And it's why people who are part of a spiritual congregation have a higher health ratio than other people on the country. Isn't that fun in the world? So you get to think about it. Is it the people, or is it the way that the people are interacting? Is it the specific people, or is it the culture of the community? And that's something to think about in all of our groups, right? And in all of our relationships. Is it this particular person, or is it the nature of the relationship we have built? Sometimes we have people in our blood families that we don't really get along with. Yeah, sometimes, every now and then. And yet, we're family. There is a relationship there that says we will show up and be there for that person under certain circumstances, even though we don't necessarily agree with them or even want to be in their presence very much, right? It's the nature of the relationship that is important there. And that relationship comes from a commitment to be the love that we are. One of the UU ministers who's quoted somewhere on the UUA site says, "Oh, the comfort, the inexpressible comfort of feeling safe with a person, having neither to weigh thoughts nor measure words, but pouring them all right out, just as they are, chaff and grain together, certain that a faithful hand will take them and sift them, keep what is worth keeping, and then with the breath of kindness, blow the rest away." Yes, that's what we are here to experience, right? Yeah. And Albert Schweitzer used to say that, here we go, it disappeared. In everyone's life at some time, our inner fire goes out. It is then burst into flame by an encounter with another human being that we can be thankful for. All those people who rekindle the inner spirit. And that's another thing we come into this kind of space for, right? Oh, I'm not feeling really up to it today. You've ever had that feeling? Those are the days we need to be here. Because that's when it gets rekindled, yeah? We get to be among people who are feeling and thinking and exploring the things that really matter in ways that are sometimes different, but always seem harmonious. Because in this space, in this liberal religious congregation, we get to explore. And that's pretty marvelous, isn't it? To be in a place where we can explore and know that it is safe and that we are encouraged and that whatever that spirit that seems to be flagging a little bit gets rekindled into new life and new beingness. So as Seneca, one of the Roman senators who wrote marvelous poetry, said, one of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and be understood. So what is it that we come to FUUF for? I think it's all of those, don't you? All of those things. Then there's the food. And most of us know that really good food helps everything. Yes. So Cicero, another, who's actually, if you were classically trained, Cicero, in the Roman tradition, another great writer. And if you're ever interested in what really was going on with the shift from the Republic to the Empire, read Cicero. Anyway, he said, friendship improves happiness and abates misery by the doubling of our joy and the dividing of our misery, right? You've heard that? That's how old that is. That's over almost 2,000 years old. Isn't that marvelous? Doubling of our joy and the dividing of our misery. And this is part of why we do the joys and concerns process when we come here. Because we know that if we share our joy here, it gets doubled, doesn't it? Right? And if we share what we're concerned about here, we know that some people will help lift that and carry that with us. Yes. That's the purpose of that point as we go through this. Well, no conversation about friendship can be completed without referring to that great friend, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. All right? Friendship is not something you learn in school, but if you haven't learned the meaning of friendship, you haven't learned anything. Right? Yeah. It's hard to think of a heavyweight fighter as being really interested in a boxer, but that is an important piece, and that actually is part of why he was called into Islam, which means people of peace, for those of you who don't remember, is that connecting with others is part of what that is about, a spiritual community, and he couldn't find it in the world that he was in. A place where he could come and be supported and learn how to experience and share friendship. And finally, we get one of the fathers of Unitarianism in this country, Ralph Waldo Emerson. In fact, I like to call him the Unitarian saint who was kicked out of the church. He says, the only way to have a friend is to be one. Thank you so much.
Are we gonna do a meditation?
We can do a quiet meditation.
Okay.
Would you like that? I've heard people would like a quiet meditation.